Hi, Providence parents and students. I'm Jesse Kraft, proud principal of Providence, and I'm here to tell you about the ThinkShare event we had and the high-level thinking skills kids use here at Providence. You're about to watch this exciting video that does a few things. One, we're going to show you a few terrific examples of ThinkShares kids did during our ThinkShare event. Another part is going to educate our parents a little bit about what the patterns of thinking are. And finally, kids, stay tuned for the end because I'm going to make a couple points about how your ThinkShare can translate into real-life great thinking. Stay tuned. But first, I'm going to let a few of our SCA officers explain to you what the patterns of thinking are. Stay tuned.
Distinctions is the idea that ideas are different from each other. Dogs are distinct or different from cats. The Earth is different from other planets. There are differences between the presidents. It's a simple idea. Distinctions are everywhere.
Systems is the idea that everything in the universe has parts. The regions of Virginia, layers of soil, a piece of music, anything and everything is a system.
Relationships is the idea that there are connections between ideas. There's relationships in nature, in politics, and in real life.
Perspectives is when you look at an idea from different points of view. You can look at a problem from different people's perspectives. We can look at a school from the perspective of learning, and then we can look at the school building from the perspective of safety. You can use different perspectives on anything.
So those are the 4 patterns of thinking that we use at Providence. When you know how to use them, you can have deeper ideas about what you're learning. The ThinkShare is where all of the kids in the grade take an idea they learned about in school, make a mental model out of it with simple objects, and share it with other students. The mental model uses the patterns of thinking, DSRP. By sharing our thinking skills this way, we can help each other get better at using the thinking skills.
So, we held our ThinkShares and kids showed some amazing displays of thinking. Then we asked just a few of the kids, out of over 100 kids, to come down and show it for this video. Now, are these the best ThinkShares of the entire grade level? No. There were so many, and if we would have used them all, this would be one long video. But these are really good examples of how kids are using the patterns of thinking. Check this out.
Hi, my name is Mac, and I am doing a ThinkShare on multiplication and division. I'm using distinctions and relationships. First, multiplication and division are pretty much opposites. Multiplication always goes higher unless it's times 1. Division always goes lower unless it's divided by 1. They both keep their identity if there's a 1 in the problem. Multiplication is pretty much skip counting. Division is pretty much skip counting going backward. Multiplication has a quotient, multiplication has a product, division has a quotient. They both, anything times 2 or divided by 2 has the next multiple or the lowest multiple coming next. Multiplication times 2 is the next number's multiple. Division is going lower is the next lowest multiple going backward. They both solve math problems, and I was using distinctions and relationships on my ThinkShare on multiplication and division.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm using relationships for Ancient China and Ancient Egypt. Ancient China had emperors, and Ancient Egypt had pharaohs. Those 2 were relationships because they both were rulers. And Ancient China had the Great Wall of China, and Ancient Egypt had pyramids. The Great Wall of China and pyramids were both architecture. And Ancient China had the terracotta warriors, and Ancient Egypt had tombs. And they both are related because they both would surround something when someone died. And Ancient China had a wheelbarrow, and Ancient Egypt had papyrus. And those 2 were both inventions. Thank you, my name is Rachel, and I was using relationships for Ancient China and Ancient Egypt.
Do you see what's going on here? The kids are using the 4 patterns of thinking to organize their thoughts and explain how they put it together in their head. We think if we can teach them how to organize their thoughts when they learn stuff in school, they can go out into the real world and they can organize their thoughts to think critically about all the challenging things that they're going to be exposed to in life. So the goal is, once they leave Providence, they don't just learn SOLs, they don't just learn the curriculum, they learn how to think. And they're practicing it on the curriculum. Let's watch some more.
Hi, I'm Roma. I'm doing my ThinkShare on mummy parts. I'm using the pattern of systems. The first part of a mummy is the body. It could be any Egyptian's body. The second part of a mummy is linen. Linen is a cloth that they wrap the body in. The last part of a mummy is the coffin. The coffin can be made of gold or wood. Another name for a coffin is a sarcophagus. That's my ThinkShare. I can't wait to see yours.
My name is Trevor, and I'll be showing you the relationships between the sun, the earth, and the moon. And you probably know that the earth spins on its own axis, and why the earth and the moon rotate around the sun, which happens once a year. And when the sun is reflecting different parts of the moon, these will be showing. The moon phases will be happening. If the moon's right here, that will be the full moon. If it was right here, that will be the first quarter. And if it was right here, that will be the last quarter. And if the moon was right in front of the sun, that will, and it will be AKA a new moon. And that is my ThinkShare.
Hi, it's me again. We have a few more, but before we watch the final ThinkShares for this particular video, think about something. Some people might look at these and wonder, why aren't the projects prettier? Why didn't we have bigger materials? Why didn't we work on them at home? Why didn't we come in, and why didn't this feel like a traditional project kids do at school on poster board or a diorama or that kind of thing? That's not the point. The point of a ThinkShare is for the kids to practice organizing their thoughts using the patterns of thinking. They could have spent hours making a pretty project, but I don't know if all those hours would have translated to deep learning about the topic, or if it would have translated to building a habit for thinking skills that you can use anywhere. So that's why these look a little scrappy. Literally, we're just trying to get into their head and they're coming up with a representation, and that'll help them in life. Watch the last few.
Hi, my name is Luke, and today I want to use distinctions and relationships to show you what I'm thinking about books. One thing I know that there are very many different types of books, but there are two main types, fiction and non-fiction. One thing I know about all books is that they all tell a story. Another thing I know about all books is they all have words. One more thing I know about all books is that they all have a title. Now there are some things I know about fiction books. I know that all their stories are fake. Another thing I know about non-fiction books are that they usually have characters like unicorns and Pegasuses. One more thing that I know about fiction books is that in fairy tales they usually have narrators. Now there are some things I know about non-fiction books. I know that all their information are real. Another thing I know about non-fiction books is that usually in biographies they have captions. Another thing I know about non-fiction books is that they usually don't have pictures. I use the distinctions and relationship thinking to show you what I'm thinking about books, and that's my thinking about books.
Hi, my name is Ezra, and I'm doing a system pattern of thinking to do the water cycle. First, when the sun and water gets hot, it's called evaporation. Then when it forms a cloud, it's called condensation. And when it rains, snows, or hails, is cup preservation. Any questions?
Those were awesome. Kids, this last part is for you. Now that ThinkShare is over for many of you, I want you to know that we always use DSRP, not just during ThinkShare. People use it in real life. People who change the world use it in real life. Let me show you what I mean. In real life, if an engineer builds a road, he needs to realize that the road is actually part of a system of roads, and that's how he'd make it safe and make it be efficient with traffic. Let's go on to another example. You all know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King and how he changed the world, one of the greatest Americans we've ever had. But his skill in thinking was looking at the relationships between people and how they could be. He used relationship thinking. And speaking of relationship thinking, some great group of engineers realized that you could take cell phones, cameras, and the internet and find a relationship between them and come up with a device like a smartphone. Literally a billion-dollar idea. So, as you can see, thinking happens all the time, not just at school, not just during ThinkShare. I challenge you, no matter where you are in life, no matter how old you are, think about distinctions, systems, relationships, and perspectives, and you will be a deep thinker and be seeing things in a whole new way. Keep it up. Can't wait to see what you're thinking.